Rush Limbaugh, who is the de facto leader of the Republican Party.
He's not.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've never heard anybody.
I'm the de facto leader of the Republican Party.
Then you know what? then I can appreciate that. But no one will actually cry down some of the things he says. Like when he comes out and says that he wants the president to fail. I understand he wants liberalism to fail. Like I get that it's not about the man, but it is still about the idea that he would rather have an idea fail so his idea could move to the forefront than have us succeed. And that to me is destructive.
How is that any different than what was said about George Bush during his presidency?
You're absolutely. Let me say something.
So let's put it in the context here. Let's put it in the context here. Rush Limbaugh is an entertainer. Rush Limbaugh, his whole thing is entertainment. Yes, it's incendiary.
Right.
Yes, it's ugly.
Sense that he
influences the party. And I tell you what, you're the first Republican I've talked to, and I've talked to a lot, that said he's not the leader of this party. They will never. I've never heard anybody say that on any show. We get past a lot of things when three men who are all from different kinds of backgrounds, who all have different ideological views, look and go, you know what, I can respect that in you, or I cannot respect. You know what, I don't have any preconceived notion. I thought you were a bright guy then. I think you're even brighter than I did.
It's ugly.
But
okay, so I am an entertainer, and I have 20 million listeners, 22 million listeners, because of my great song and dance routines here. Yes, said Michael Steele, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, I'm incendiary, and yes, it's ugly. Michael Steele, you are head of the RNC. You are not head of the Republican Party. Tens of millions of conservatives and Republicans have nothing to do with the RNC, and right now they want nothing to do with it, and when you call them, asking them for money, they hang up on you. I hope that changes. I hope the RNC will get its act together. I hope the RNC chairman will realize he's not a talking head pundit, that he is supposed to be working on the grassroots and rebuilding it, and maybe doing something about our open primary system and fixing it so that Democrats do not nominate our candidates. It's time, Mr. Steele, for you to go behind the scenes and start doing the work that you were elected to do, instead of trying to be some talking head media star, which you're having tough time pulling off. I hope you figure out how to run a primary system. But it seems to me that it's Michael Steele who is off to a shaky start.
The printing of money, the endless devaluation of our currency and how important it is, it gets one of the loudest applauses because young people understand that money is a very important issue. They understand that the Constitution is explicit. The Constitution says no emitting bills of credit, no paper money, only gold and silver can be legal tender. And today we allow big government to grow, whether it's on the conservative side or the liberal side. If they want something, they usually have a compromise, spend it on both, and then they resort to printing money. And that is where our trouble's coming from. And that is the crisis we're facing. All great nations and great empires, and for fiscal, financial reasons. That's how the Soviet system was defeated. We didn't have to invade them. We didn't have to fight them. Their system collapsed. And that is what's happening today. The middle class is getting wiped out. The middle class is getting poorer endlessly because they can't keep up with the cost of living. And the solution isn't printing more money and spending more money and allowing the Federal Reserve to pretend they can solve the problem. The answer is found in fiscal conservatism. Live within our means is what we have to do. You know, as long as a government can stir up fear, sometimes real and sometimes not real, the people are expected to do one thing: sacrifice their liberty. If you're fearful, the government, the people who believe in big government conservatives or big government liberals, they like fear to be out there. And sometimes fear is normal and natural and real, and we have to deal with it. But at other times, it's concocted. In times of war, whether it was a civil war, the First World War, the Second World War, just think of the violations of civil liberties during the period of war when people are frightened. The one conclusion I have come to since 9/11 is that there is absolutely never a need to sacrifice any of your personal liberties to be safe. That means we do not have to accept the notion that we can have warrantless searches, a total loss of our privacy. We don't need a national ID card. Believe me, we do not need it.